The last time I talked about Alabama, I picked them to go 9-3 and miss the college football playoff. 9-4 last year, 5-3, tied for fourth in the SEC. They lost the ReliaQuest Bowl. It has been more than 3 seasons. It's been 4 seasons exactly since Alabama has played in the national championship game. Actually, since they've won a playoff game. Pretty unfamiliar feeling. It's been over a year. Alabama missed the college football playoff last year. Unfamiliar feeling. I believe that the Alabama Crimson Tide are going to reach the college football playoff in 2025, which is a departure from my prior record prediction video where I picked Alabama to miss the playoffs, and I picked them to lose 3 games again. Now, I believe that the Alabama Crimson Tide could, in a world where there's a lot of 3-loss teams, they could maybe make it in at 9-3. Maybe, just maybe. But I'm going to go a step further. And I think that Alabama is going to reach double-digit wins this season. I believe in their offensive line. I believe in their defensive line. I don't quite think that Alabama is going to be, this super team, of course, but they don't have to be a super team to reach the college football playoff. If Kalen DeBoer is the elite coach that I believe he is, the Alabama Crimson Tide will reach the college football playoff this fall. And I think that's the mistake I made in my previous Alabama predictions video. Link to that will be in a reply to the pinned comment at the top of the comment section if any of you were curious. But that's the mistake that I made here. I picked Alabama to go 9-3, 5-3 in the regular season for 2025, the same regular season record they earned in 2024. And what I think I missed there is the talent, the sheer talent that Alabama has, combined with Kalen DeBoer and his staff entering year 2. So they have a much greater opportunity to impact the roster, to implement the changes needed, to continue their developmental and coaching style and impress it upon the players. And Kalen DeBoer brought in Ryan Grub. Before we resume this segment, please take a few seconds of your time to make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and for any team podcasts and playlists linked in the description, and also comment your thoughts down below in the comment section and join my Discord server via the description. All of those things I just asked you to do are completely free, and they sign you up for things related to my channel, or they don't sign you up for anything. No cost to you, and all the benefit to you because we release daily college football content here on College Football with Sam. If you want to support the channel monetarily, sign up for a YouTube membership, or check any other links in the description for my merchandise store and Patreon page. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the segment. Brought in Ryan Grub to be his offensive coordinator, just like he was at Washington with DeBoer in 2022 and 2023. Of course, when they went 14-1, played Michigan in the national championship game, and played Michigan more competitively, I think, than the final score would exactly indicate. So that's huge right there, along with returning Jeremy Bernard, returning Ryan Williams, bringing in Isaiah Horton from the transfer portal. I love Alabama's outlook more than I did, honestly, a week ago, because an epiphany occurred to me. I forget exactly when it was, but I think it was on one of my live shows, which are Sunday, Monday, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, soon to add on Tuesdays and maybe even Thursdays. Definitely will add on to my live show schedule when the regular season begins. Week of August 23rd. We think the season starts in week 0, not week 1, although week 0 might soon be week 1. But anyway, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent here. I looked at Alabama and what they return. They return 64% of their production, which is 29th. Their preseason S&P Plus rating is a 27.9. I still think they could go 9-3, but I think that's a floor for them. If everything goes wrong, maybe 8-4, but 9-3 is the likely floor here. And they could go 12-0. Not likely, wouldn't pick it. I think realistically, though, their ceiling is 11-1, and 11-1 would probably get them to Atlanta, definitely get them a home playoff game, and 10-2, that's smack dab in the middle. So at the end of the day, I decided to side with 10-2 and pick Alabama to go to the college football playoff. That's what I decided to do here. So I'm actually going to change this up and do my predictions first because we've already gone through the schedule. We've already gone through what they return. Just want to change it up. So I'll do that at the end this time with Alabama. As for the 10-2, 6-2 prediction, tied for third in the SEC, I think obviously that gets you into the college football playoff. And again, I think there was just this disconnect in my mind between Alabama having a lot of unproven talent and having some questions. I think the quarterback battle is somewhat of a concern and a question. I think they lost their best player on the offensive line last year. I don't exactly believe that Alabama has one of the best assistant coaching staffs in America. Coordinators are different. Coordinators are very different. I love Womack at DC, love Grub at offensive coordinator, and then I think Kalen DeBoer is a top 3 head coach in America. Top 3. But they do have, I think, some talent and developmental questions that really stem from the end of the Saban era. But they're in year 2, so they're going to get further from that. I think they still have a good strength and conditioning staff. I believe in their recruiting. They have some good assistants, like Jamarcus Shepard is an elite assistant, for example. And they had a lot of young talent last year that returns this year. So I thought it was a little bit hypocritical and inconsistent of me to pick this team to go 9-3. They should reach the playoffs. They are a team that I definitely underrated for most of July and really until I think now, where I have them inside my top 8 rankings and not just, fringe top 10 like I did, and I'm picking them to win double-digit games. I think they'll be a better quality team in 2025 than they were in 2024. That is one of my predictions for Alabama, my mild prediction. Kept most of these the same compared to my last video, my last Alabama record predictions video, but I also changed some of them. For example, prediction number 2, which I think is medium because the schedule is tough and there are questions, but it's not a hot prediction, is that the Crimson Tide will make the college football playoff. I think for sure. Not the most confident in it, but I'm more confident in Alabama making the playoff than probably 120 or more. Actually, probably 125 because there's, 136 or more FBS teams now. There are only a handful of teams that I'm more confident in making the playoffs than I am Alabama. So I don't think it's that much of a bold, risky prediction. A hot prediction is that Alabama's defense is a fantastic unit that finishes around the top 5. It'll improve from last year for sure. Year 2, in the new scheme, in that swarm defensive scheme, 4-2-5, moving away from, Saban's 3-4, where you had more traditional linebackers there, more the Belichick-Saban style defense, moving into more of the modern defenses that are meant to counter the spread. That will help a lot, and they return a ton, and I mean a ton of starters. My scorching prediction is that the Tide will lose to Georgia by 10+, losing to Georgia in the fall for the first time since losing to Georgia overall for the first time since 21. But the last time they lost to Georgia in the regular season was 2007. It was an overtime game in Tuscaloosa, and I think Stafford just had one play where they threw a touchdown after Alabama kicked the field goal, and it was a walk-off touchdown to Mikey Henderson. That was, I believe it was Mikey Henderson. If I can vividly see the play right now where Georgia beat them in my mind from highlights that I've watched over and over again. The reason I say this is both teams are off a bye, but it's in Athens. This is the first time that Alabama plays in Athens since 2015. And Athens is more of a Georgia environment than Atlanta, obviously, even though typically when Georgia plays in Atlanta, they do have home field advantage, like anywhere from probably 60 to 75% of that stadium is Georgia fans whenever Georgia plays there. It's a slight Georgia home field advantage, but not the same as Sanford Stadium. And I think that Georgia will, by this time, by late September, will be better on the offensive line than they will to start off the year, and better than people think. And I believe that defensive line and defense overall is going to be very nasty. You also have to think that last year Georgia didn't have any receivers, and they hung more than 30 points on Alabama in a very short span, really from the second quarter to the fourth quarter. Final score was 41-34. they put up 27 points in the second half. Now, I know they were trailing. All they could do was throw, but it's not like they had a successful run game overall or a very successful pass game last year. And I believe that with new wide receivers and a quarterback in Gunnar Stockton, who I think is underrated, and returning their tight ends, I think that Georgia is going to not blow out Alabama. I would not pick that, but handily beat them? Yes, I would say that. And then my Hellfire prediction is that Alabama's offense is nearly as inconsistent as it was in 2024 due to the quarterback and the offensive line, which I'm higher on the offensive line than I was, but I still do not think that it will be one of the best units in the country. It will be good. It will be great. There will be moments where the talent just takes over, and if they're well coached, that will be in the big games. But I think it's spottier than a lot of people believe. Quarterback is where I have real concerns, but I believe that all those things will also be able to be mitigated by the fact that Alabama has a really damn good wide receiver core this year, and they'll make the playoffs because the offense, while inconsistent last year, I said nearly. I think it'll be a little bit more consistent. I think that the passing game will have a higher ceiling, and the defense will be better. So I think those things leads Alabama to really win 10 games this year and to reach the college football playoff. Again, their schedule: at Florida State week 1, ULM week 2, Wisconsin week 3. Off the week 4 bye, they play Georgia on the road in week 5. Vanderbilt, they host week 6. They play at Missouri week 7, host Tennessee week 8. They play at South Carolina week 9. They get a bye week 10, play LSU week 11 at home. Oklahoma at home week 12, Eastern Illinois at home week 13. Then they travel to Auburn week 14. I lean positive at running back, wide receiver, defensive line, really the entire defense. I lean positive there. Tim Keenan at defensive tackle, Qua Russo and LT Overton. Also on the defensive line at edge, Deontay Lawson's back, along with Bray Hubbard at safety. And then you have Jam Miller at running back, and then Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, and Jeremy Bernard at wide receiver. You got a lot of good players. And I think that the home games honestly match up well with Alabama. I don't think they'll lose at home, just like they didn't last year. And the road slate at South Carolina, at Georgia, at Missouri, at Auburn, you could have 3 losses there, but they'll have a distinct talent advantage over all of them except for Georgia. I think they'll be better prepared for South Carolina, and South Carolina will be also worse. Missouri, they destroyed Missouri last year. There's no reason to think that will drastically change based on the portal development staffs from last year to this year, although it probably should be closer. Auburn and Georgia, I think, are the trickiest spots. And I also think that Florida State, depending on I guess on how good Alabama's defense is out of the gate, and what Alabama's offense with Simpson looks like out of the gate, really compared to Tony White's defense at Florida State, because I think Florida State's offense is a known. They're going to be very limited through the air, have some plays to Deuce Robinson, but they're going to run the ball, and they're going to be limited. It really, I think, depends on Florida State's special teams and defense, and then can the FSU offense get a big play or so? I think that that could be tricky, but I would still heavily favor Alabama in that game. And I think in all of their games except for the Georgia game, they will be a favorite and certainly will be the better team. And again, to rehash some of my predictions here, Alabama will reach the playoffs. They'll be a better quality team this year. The power ratings may not reflect it, but I think last year's power ratings were overinflated by the Georgia game, by high preseason expectations, and also the fact that I think FPI cares a little bit more about recruiting, a little bit more than it should, especially with how much of a game sample size we have now. I mean, if you have a top 10 talent roster, but you are just getting blown out left and right, you still shouldn't be ranked top 25, for example. I also think their defense will be certainly top 10, could be top 5. I think that they will certainly lose to Georgia and probably suffer another loss with that 10-2 record. And they will still have issues on offense. I don't think this is a national championship favorite, but can they win the national championship? Can they have success? Certainly. And I do think Alabama reaches the college football playoff. Thank you for watching College Football with Sam. Make sure that you've liked the video, subscribed to the channel, Hit the notification bell for the channel and team playlists and podcasts in the description. Join the free Discord server where we talk college football 24/7 and have commented your thoughts down below. Check out the description for any ways you can support the channel monetarily. Everything else I've asked you to do is completely free, and your support means the world to me. We're trying to become the next big thing on college football YouTube. 6-figure subscribers, maybe 1 million one day. I think we can do that. And also check out any videos or playlists, anything in these columns right here, where there will be videos and playlists. Yeah, you get the point. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.